Cheyenne Rutherford, will you marry me, please?
How amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, I'm here with Dan Ish. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm well, actually. Doing pretty well. I feel good. I feel 40. But outside of that, yeah, no, I'm doing great, Gary. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So the biggest advocate for having this fight in Pottstown on February 22nd was Mike from King Street. And tell us about your gym, and tell us about Mike, and tell us about fighting this close to home.
Oh man, where do I start? So Mike, great guy. I've known him a long time. Back when I was even at Nakmoy, I've known Mike. I had some trials and tribulations in my life, and the guy never gave up on me. To summarize, family environment. He's grown a lot of individuals. Very strong team. King Street is a very, very strong team, and I don't mean strong like strong. I mean we pick each other up when we fall down. We give each other inspiration. We tell each other we can do it. We suffer defeat together, right? We don't. And what I mean by that is, there might be a loss in the ring, or out of the ring, whatever it may be. We come together as a community, right? We like to call ourselves a family too, and I know a lot of gyms do that, but we're very tight knit group, very passionate about what we do, and we love each other. We do.
That's an awesome support system. And this fight being, I don't know, have you driven from King Street to the venue? What is it, 5 minutes? I drove it a couple times just to see. I'm telling everybody 5, 6, 7 minutes away. You're going to have a huge support crowd there. You were just at the bare knuckle fights, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not going to have 17,000 there, obviously, but the crowd was amazing there. So how, and I know you have a strong contingent that follows you around no matter where you fight. When you fought for us in Allentown, you had a lot of people there. But how is that going to feel walking out in front of that hometown and everybody just going nuts?
I'm going to love it. I'm going to put on a show. Humble in nature. I'll always be respectful, but I'm gonna come to bring it. I always do. I love getting the crowd hype. I love interacting with people. I'm a social butterfly. But again, humble in nature, very respectful. I will always be extremely respectful. But it's gonna be awesome, and I can't thank you enough for having me on another show. This is really awesome.
No, we love to have you. And I know you've been fighting for years, and I know you fought for USKA and other promotions a lot. You did come up short on your last fight. It was a great fight, but I have a couple questions about that. Yeah. I don't know if anybody, and this isn't being disrespectful, remembers your fight now, your last fight. Because what you did after, just you turn the room upside down. So Mike comes up to me, he says, "Hey, Dan wants to do something. Can you give him a little room here?" Something like that. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. And you proposed, and yes. She said yes, and that was good. We'll play that video while we're talking now. So did you know going into that fight you were going to do that? Obviously, you must have. And how did that all work out? Who did you give the ring? How did you put that all together?
So initially, Gary, I was only going to propose if I won. Okay. I gave the ring to Lauren. I just didn't trust a whole lot of people with it. I saved up for it. They're not cheap, right? So I gave it to Lauren, and I had her hold on to it. And I told her, I was like, I'm only going to do this if I win. I only want this if I win. And I'm going to piggyback off that real quick. Josh Martinez is a great young kid. He's awesome. What a warrior. I took that fight maybe on like 10 days or 11 days notice, but God, that kid he is tough. He has a bright future. And there was a little tiff in the beginning there, but you know what I mean. Him and I actually we talk often, and that's the great thing about this sport is the relationships you build after. And what a respectful young man. He's great. He's a deserving champion. He's awesome. But anyways, moving on. You know, I look out into the crowd and I see you. I see Dave. I look at Mike, and everybody's kind of giving me this look like, come on, man, do it anyways, you know? And so I did. I asked for the mic. I popped a question, and she said yes, and it's been great. She's awesome. Cheyenne is wonderful. She's wonderful.
No, it was a great moment. After the last fight, the main event, and we had a long night, a good night of fights. Everybody kind of wants to just get out of there. And I'm like, hey, hang on for one more second. And I thought it just came together really good. And it is in the background of the video when you're saying it, there's a ring card girl, two of them standing over side by side. And the look on their face is like, come on, the fight's over. Let's get the hell out of here. And then they realize what you're doing. And they're like, oh, my God, you know, they melted. Like everybody melted. So that was cool. And again, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Let's fast forward now. A couple things are different now. You have James Taylor this time. This is for a senior title. There's nobody doesn't know that you guys are older guys. The rules are different this time. You're fighting full rules. You know, you're throwing the elbows. I got the elbow pads right over there. Just came in today. So how do you feel about this fight? And you know, just what's your general feelings about everything?
Well, I think my comfort is Muay Thai. And I don't mean to keep going back, but there was a couple times where I was told by the ref when I was fighting Josh, I couldn't clinch, I couldn't catch. I was holding on after I threw my knees. So, and my point is I'm very comfortable Muay Thai. I'm the Muay Thai coach at King Street. I think holistically as a fighter, this is where this is my bright spot. Now I have my own style, right? It's Dan Inch's style of Muay Thai. It's a little bit of a hybrid, right? I have my own, you know, nuances and behaviors and things that I have picked up over the years, cross training with many people, that I have, you know, absorbed and I put into under quote unquote my style of Muay Thai. And I'm still a very traditional Muay Thai boxer. You know, I still march, I still knee, I still clinch. I just add my own zest to it. But moving on, I don't know much about James Taylor. Although to be doing this at our age, it lets me know that he has tenacity, he has heart, he has determination. So I know it's going to be a scrap. It just comes with the territory. You can't do this at our age and be a quitter or do things halfway through, you know, or not have any heart, period. You can't teach those things. You can teach people Muay Thai, but you can't teach ethics and morals and some of those things. And I don't know a lot about him, but again, at this age, he needs all that stuff to be able to do this.
Absolutely. So you kind of stole my next question, because I was going to say, you know, not stole it, you ruined it. You have a unique style. You're kind of all over the place at times. You know, your hands go out a little bit, you're a little lower, a little up. So, I mean, you developed that from other gyms, but did you set out to do that like that? I mean, did you say, I want to be like this? So at times people look at me and say, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah. Initially, I started out doing Muay Thai under Eric Garner, and it was a very traditional style of boxing, you know, Thai boxing. And, you know, it morphed. It became a hybrid. I have a wrestling background, so I have wrestling footwork. I also played a lot of soccer growing up, so I have a lot of soccer footwork too. And I felt it wasn't being utilized. You know, left-right movements, cutting off at angles, different things like that. And I don't mean that I can't march and, you know, be a traditional Thai boxer. I just cut differently. And it's worked so far. It's
Oh, absolutely. I like it. I enjoy it, and it's a breath of fresh air. But like you said, you could still see the marching, the traditional tie, and everything else. So that's awesome. So after your last fight, we know what happened with the proposal. But when you go back to the gym, when did you go back to the gym? Was it an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year? And what was the game plan from there? Am I going to do this again? Am I done with this? What were your thoughts there?
So I think I was in the gym the next day, actually, doing a one-on-one. But I didn't want to quit. I have some other goals in mind. I did have to go back to the drawing board. I'm a little bit headstrong in that I fight the fight. I'm an older fighter. I take fights, willy-nilly, so to say. And when I got the call for Josh Martinez, I didn't think twice about it. You know what I mean? I knew the kid was gonna be tough, but it's just my upbringing. But I think to answer your question was, one of the things that I had to do was reset and go, okay, K1 is a young man's sport. I can't make any brash decisions like that. Let's stick to what I'm good at, and let's be a little bit smarter with who I do choose to fight. I mean, I don't have anything to prove to anybody anymore. I've fought a lot of tough people. So not to say that there's cherry picking or anything like that, but if it's Muay Thai, yes, let's have at it. If it's K1, let's really come together as a group. And is this smart for Dan Inch?
Very good, very good. Now the other guys in your gym, you have several fighting on the card. Eddie Higgins, who else? You got Anthony, who else?
Anthony Coyle and Anthony Smooth Trujillo.
Two Anthonys, that's right.
Yeah.
So, are you always in camp with them, or are you guys always training at the same time, or how does that all work? And is that an advantage having these guys that are in the competitive mode focused on that fight?
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful. It's wonderful. These young men, they've given me a second wind, a second life. They hold pads for me. They do. And I don't mean to talk. I'm just trying to talk about what kind of teammates they are. Right. They're respectful. They're hungry. They have these things that I was talking about as far as James Taylor goes. But we travel together. I have to pass the torch to somebody, right? The type of respect that you need to have, different things in nature. In addition to that, the connections that I've made with everybody in this sport, they come with me to Jai Singh. They go with me to Royal Striking. We've gone up to Burke's together and at the Institute. We have North Star come through, and these are all connections that we collectively have made over time, and it's great. But yeah, to answer your question, when these guys are in camp, we push each other. If I'm feeling lethargic, I'll take it today. I'm in the middle of my cut. My caloric intake is down, but Smooth was like, no, we're getting pads today. You're hitting pads today. I ran 3 miles before that, but he's like, no, we're getting pads today. And it wasn't, are you getting pads, or hey, do you want to hit pads? It's, hey, we're getting pads today, and he's pushing me.
Yeah, I mean that's he has a respect for you to say, hey, we're doing this. You need this. This is what you need. And on the other hand, you don't want to have the respect to say, well, we'll defer to you, Dan. How are you feeling today? That doesn't do you any good in the fight. That's awesome. That's a great relationship. And the gyms that you mentioned are all great gyms. And I did an interview earlier with Dan O'Neill. We're talking about Droogs and King Street and Black Sheep being all right there near Pottstown, which I didn't know when we were putting this all together. I didn't know everybody was right there. And then the next group of gyms, if you go a half hour out, you got Algio's coming in with fights, 717's coming in with fights, Tiger Schulman's coming in with fighters, to this show. And this card from top to bottom, it just looks amazing to me.
It's stacked. It is
yeah.
stacked.
And Eddie Higgins, he has a title fight on this card as well. He's going on earlier than you. Are you going to be able to watch that fight? You won't be able to see that, will you? That's kind of like 2 fights before you. You're going to be peeking out from the curtain.
I will.
Are you playing about that?
I will. I want to see it. Big respect to Hellfish. I've known Tim at least a decade. You know, Tim and Nikki, great people. Great people, great, respectful gym. You know, it's going to be a great fight. So, but yeah, I want to watch it. Eddie is a very, very talented, respectful young man. He's great. He's another great one. A lot of bright futures coming out of King Street.
When Eddie fought for us in January, one of the commentators, Josh Carr, says, "This kid is a freaking video game." And I'm like, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard anybody say. No one's ever said anything like that about me. But yeah, he comes off with some moves. Like, I mean, he's coming from every single direction. So where did he get his style? And do you have any influence on that?
You know, he's been training under both mics for a very long time. Is there some sort of salt and pepper that I may have contributed? Possibly, but you know, he's a product of Mike Hughes and Mike Moyer. In addition to a lot of the other fighters outside of that gym, but Mike Hughes is playing chess with the people that he has surrounding. And again, I want to say chess because people, you know, we're not talking Battleship or checkers or, you know, Mike Hughes has done a very, very good job, in addition to Lauren, of putting the right people around for these fighters in the gym, in addition to the students. You know, we have Casey, who's our strength and conditioning coach. We have Frankie, who just teaches boxing. There's just a lot of different, you know, and Mike Moyer, and Lauren's a good kick. She's a USKA champion kickboxer, you know. So all these pieces around are making these individuals.
And not only that, what I noticed, I mean, Mike shared a post a few days ago, and you guys got a list of people coming into the gym and things going on around that, right? The chef's coming in, right? So
yeah.
Again, so that's, man, what an awesome time to be in the martial arts, especially there at King Street. That's unbelievable. Well, hey, the fight's coming up February 22nd in Pottstown. I know you're gonna have a ton of people there, and your gym's right there. But I am really looking forward to a lot of the fights in this card. I'll be honest. But these title fights, you know, your fight and Eddie's fight against Sawyer and Scrappy, and Lauren. Elena, I mean, what an amazing card, and the pro fight at the end there. So I'm gonna
crazy. I know him. Well, I mean, we all know each other, you know what I mean? But I know them. Like I shared rooms with all of them before, a lot, you know, a lot. Jeff out of Black Sheep is a good guy, you know, good guy.
You know, when we do the advanced rules, the insurance is different with no headgear and allowed to throw elbows and stuff. And you know, I'm telling the guy today, I said, yeah, there's 7 advanced rules fights. And he goes, oh, we love that. You're going to be paying, you know. But that's going to make it a very exciting night. But Dan, I'm going to give you the last word. I really enjoy talking with you. I will say this. I like to keep these interviews to 10 minutes. I'm looking at the clock now. It just struck 19 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
It went by so fast, so fast. I really enjoy this. I'll see you February 22nd, but I'm going to give you the last word.
Gary, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having the team on too as well. We really appreciate it. We will not disappoint. This is in our backyard. I'm coming for the belt though. Second chances don't happen very often, and I'm getting one, and I'm bringing that belt home. I mean that. Thank you so much.
That's awesome, and we'll see you in just about 10 days, Dan. Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you.